Radiant team ban.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the South America Challenge. We are in the lower bracket. One of these two teams is going to be eliminated after this best of three. Will it be Battlezone? Will it be Isurus? Who knows? I sure as hell don't, but I'm excited to find out here on HeflaTV HB1. I'm going to be one of your casters. I'm Mikelorus, and I have Grandis on the mic as well. Who do you think is going to take it, man?
I would slightly favor Isurus, just being a little bit more stable as a team, but I would not be surprised to see Battlezone take a victory either. They should be pretty evenly matched. I think that the 60-40 odds on Dota 2 Best YOLO are pretty darn close to the truth.
Yeah, and we have something very similar in the extremely formal poll that we ran in the opening moments of the or waiting moments of the game, I suppose. So people seem to like Isurus, and I gotta agree with them. Haven't really seen much of Battlezone. They got here by, well, I mean, they steamrolled PPK. That wasn't too hard for them, but they also lost to Sad Voids previously, so haven't actually seen too much of this team, so it's really hard to evaluate what level they're at. And for Isurus, it is a lot easier. They tend to play a lot more visible games. But enough about that. We have a draft going on. Looks like Troll Warlord going to be first picked, even though Axe is in the pool.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised to see Battlezone snag that up as their first. It's very rare that we do see Axe left through into the first stage, especially with Earthshaker banned out by Battlezone. Maybe expecting this Troll Warlord first pick, and honestly I'm surprised that it's taking them so long to settle on what their first two heroes are going to be with Axe inside the pool. It's just such a strong hero to pass up, and if you do pass it up, a Troll Warlord Axe is incredibly scary to go up against.
And if they're not looking at the Axe, I mean, just looking at the first bans, the Lion Shaker, Shaker a rather early first ban out, Sniper also is going to take the hit there. So with the Vengeful Spirit ban, Battlezone might be thinking about going for a Bat Rider, and then in which case you probably don't want both the Bat Rider and the Axe. You could run the Axe in a non-off-lane position, you could throw him in the jungle, you could put him in mid lane, like that will all work, but it seems like that might be a pretty large decision point that they're going to find themselves in very early on, because both those two heroes have their merits, and it looks like I'm completely wrong. It's a Slark that's going to get picked first.
I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those initiating offlane heroes as their second pick. However, Slark is probably just one of their comfort zone picks. It's seen a lot more in the South America scene than it is in a lot of other regions, and Battlezone will settle on that first. Oh, actually, they're going to follow that up with an Ancient Apparition. Pretty interesting. Although AA is incredibly good against this Slark, it's pretty peculiar to see it so early on. And it's also very weird to see both the Bat Rider and Axe completely untouched. It's actually going to be a Storm to follow up the Troll for Isurus.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's a comfort zone hero. The Slark is generally pretty hard to shut down by the Ancient Apparition on the other team, so with this pickup, it's a good hero with the Slark. Chilling Touch on someone who could very quickly get in and get out is pretty sweet, but pretty much picking that Ancient Apparition so as to protect the Slark is going to be the opening for Battlezone, and that's reasonable if they really feel comfortable with this hero. But Isurus Gaming, their job to try to counter this is going to be just kill the Slark, pick up fast disables. There aren't a ton in the pool right now, as Lion is the premier one, but Storm Spirit as the instant response from Isurus, I really like that. First of all, good against Slark in general. In most games, Storm Spirit will be reasonable versus Slark, but also knowing that the Ancient Apparition is going to be that other support, there's no crowd control coming out of that support, so you can breathe a little bit easier.
Yeah, and it's also a hero that DDX is very comfortable on, and I think I like Isurus Gaming's opener just a little bit, but not by too much. It is going to mean the Battlezone are going to prioritize CC with their other support pretty heavily, and as you've already said, those S-tier supports, Earthshaker, Lion, and Venge are all taken away, and I don't think that Witch Doctor is really going to cut it. Maybe something along the lines of a Skywrath Mage, or maybe something a little bit harder than that.
Skywrath Mage seems reasonable for both sides. Really, the answers to Slark and Storm Spirit do overlap quite a bit, and then, well, outside of that, Storm Spirit counters Slark, so we are going to see, not surprisingly, a lot of support hate. Not really surprised to see this at all coming out from Battlezone, since they already have one of their support heroes. But for Isurus, it definitely seems like they want to protect their Storm as much as possible. I'm thinking Rubik is probably going to be involved in this game in one way or another. It would be pretty good to partner up with that Ancient Apparition. It's possible to land the Cold Feet, and a ranged hero with Chilling Touch is pretty legit.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, at this point there's not any great spells to steal, but there's hardly ever a game where there's going to be bad ones. And, well, there's not going to be a Rubik. He's banned out. The supports have taken a lot of hate inside the second ban stage. Beastmaster is actually going to pick up for Battle Zone. That is going to somewhat patch up the hole that they were lacking inside CC. It's not as fast as coming out as like a Hex from the Lion or a Lift from the Rubik, but as far as hard disables are concerned, it doesn't get any better than a Roar.
It's great versus Storm Spirit. It's even really good versus that Troll Warlord. Once the Troll picks up a BKB, just cut right through it with that Roar and you're good to go. Battlezone, they're positioning themselves to be pretty aggressive in this game. Between the Chilling, or the Ancient Apparition ultimate and the Hawk, they will have some pretty good presence around the map just passively with those two. And if Slark goes to something like a Shadow Blade and Beastmaster grabs the Blink Dagger or something like that, then they could make this game very aggressive as far as looking for kills pretty much all the time, and they have the right heroes to do it. Isurus, they have some answers to it and just their general survivability, but Battlezone, it looks like they are going to take the initiative in this game with this Beastmaster pick. We'll see how aggressive they want to play with this hero.
Yeah. I always like seeing Beastmasters played extremely aggressively. Every time you have that Primal Roar off of cooldown, you'll want to look for kills. Although you can sit back and maybe split push a little bit with the hero, I think he really shines when you're using that ultimate as early and often as you can. For Isurus' next pick, it's going to be a Disruptor. It's going to offer them some amount of AoE control and an instant disable to deal with the Slark. Most of the frequently seen ones have already been banned out, and I think that Static Storm is completely reasonable here.
Yeah, it's a lower damage support hero, but when you're talking about having a Storm Spirit core, Troll Warlord core already, you don't really need a support hero who's going to be hitting very hard. And as we said before, the pool of those S-Class supports are, well, I mean, the S-Class are pretty much gone. You got to scrape a little bit lower on that barrel, but Disruptor is still a very good pick versus that Slark, and hell, even versus the softer hero like Shadow Fiend, Ancient Apparition. Disruptor doesn't do that much damage, but if you catch him in a Static Storm, the damage does tend to add up. And Battlezone with the Shadow Fiend pick, I mean, it is a hero that can go pretty aggressively, but also has some insurance late. Definitely not the best hero to be playing versus a Storm Spirit, but if they are going to be deathballing, looking for constant ganks, then the damage output of Shadow Fiend cannot be ignored.
Yeah, and it's also a hero that can benefit very much from the space that a Beastmaster and Slark could, in theory, create. So we'll just have to see how Battlezone end up playing it. We're still lacking that last support for them. What could it be? I would like to see something along the lines of a Sand King, a sport that we don't get to see very often, but I don't think they're going to be able to punch it. Finally, we see Axe picked up for Isurus, and I think it's long enough that Axe has been slipping through the pool in this draft at the very least. A very scary amount of initiation coming out from Isurus. Between the Storm and the Axe, a lot of ways to get the jump.
Man, a couple months ago would have said, oh my god, Axe, look at that, it's so weird being picked up fourth. We never see Axe, but no, now it's weird because he's always first banned or first picked. It's, as you said, kind of overdue, and Isurus, they were still lacking that off-lane hero. Storm Spirit, usually mid, Troll Warlord can go safe lane, or swap those two, can go just as well, but Axe can go to that off-lane pretty well, and though Ancient Apparition Slark is a pretty dangerous lane, and Axe might be forced out, he is free to just jungle up if need be, so, I mean, all the usually standard things about Axe apply in this game. It's just he's picked up very late. If you shuffle Isurus's pick order, then well, it looks like a very cookie-cutter draft.
Batrider going to be the last ban from Battlezone. They are scared of the Jungle Axe, but I think more important is that they were almost completely out of reserve time, so they didn't have much time to think about that ban either way. Isurus Gaming will ban out the Shadow Shaman, and I think that would have been a pretty nice support for Battlezone, in all honesty. Just offering 2 disables against the Storm Spirit is something that their draft could have used very nicely. He is generally outclassed by Lion, but since Lion and a lot of the other supports have been taken away, I think it's completely reasonable to see him banned out. Wraith King's actually going to be the pick coming out from Battlezone. They have a very fast and early Roshan that they could do if they get a medallion on the Beastmaster especially, but I think more than anything Wraith King's picked here for the stun.
Yeah, they only really had that Roar as a reliable stun. Wraith King's stun, not exactly 100% guaranteed to land, but again, you gotta get a stun somewhere, and the synergy with these heroes, with all these auras, is going to be pretty tangible. Like, they have the lifesteal, additional attack speed, minus armor, and then they just have Chilling Touch, which I'm going to count as an aura, although it's not really. Just a whole bunch of damage and a whole bunch of utility coming out from all the heroes. Even the lowest of damaging heroes on the Battlezone side are going to be hitting pretty darn hard because of all these amplifications from these auras. So, as you said, that combined with the Roshan can make this a pretty aggressive, dangerous game for Battlezone if they could somehow lock down the Storm Spirit. He's still going to be a problem hero unless they could burst him down within the duration of a single stun, which is certainly very possible with the Shadow Fiend on their side, with the Ancient Apparition on their side, but it just is a question of can they land the stun and kill off the Storm Spirit convincingly enough and enough times so that the Storm Spirit doesn't go nuts all over the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, the Storm definitely has the potential to do that, but also DDX could get a little too comfortable. I've seen it before where he just gets a little bit overzealous and dives a little too aggressively into the enemy team. So there's also that to keep in mind, but equally as likely is that DDX just completely goes off like a rocket. Last pickup for Isurus is going to be a Zeus. It's going to offer them a lot of damage, and really I don't think you could have gone wrong because they just had so much control from their first 4 picks.
Yeah, I mean, the Zeus is a pretty reasonable pick here for Isurus. Doesn't really fill any huge lacking hole in their draft, but that's just because they didn't have a huge hole. So you might as well get a support that could just punch it through with a hell of a lot of magic damage. And again, shutting down the likes of Slark, Shadow Fiend with sheer burst damage is maybe going to happen 1 or 2 times. So with that Zeus pick, Isurus pick up 3 Lightning Heroes. Razor's missing, but man, they were so close to having a full flavor win. But that's not going to be a win enough. We'll see if they can win this best of 3 to keep in the South American Challenge. They're going to send Pepita as the Troll Warlord down towards the bottom lane with fullback, playing that Zeus. Nidara's going to play the Disruptor, and over towards mid, DDX is going to be handling the Storm. Up towards top, Dulce has control of the Axe.
Full 5-man smoke coming out from Battle Zone. Looking for a wraparound. They might catch out the Troll. Pepita is in a very precarious situation. If one Wraithfire Blast lands, this could just be his death. They'll walk over to the right, and they spot him. They're not leading with the Wraith King, however, and there's no boots first onto him. They'll summon the boar, trying to slow down this Troll, but I think he might be able to just walk his way out of there, and he's going to survive, although only just. We'll go back and introduce the Battle Zone heroes. Zind are going to be playing on the support Wraith King offlane. It'll be the Beastmaster, handled by Mihawk. The other 3 with Radix playing on the Ancient Apparition, Iwo on the Shadow Fiend, last but not least, Gethuxto on the Slark.
Usually the hero who's stuck in that position doesn't survive, but the Troll Warlord was able to see the enemies incoming because I think he had, well, an angle on the Ancient Apparition. I know he dispelled that smoke maybe first, but also he had supports coming in from the left side, so the smoke kind of dispelled from both sides, and Troll Warlord got full vision and wasn't blindsided by any poor fogging, so Troll Warlord able to survive that, which could have been really bad. Like, up against a team with Ancient Apparition, you could usually assume that they're going to be playing the level 1 0-minute kind of play very aggressively because there's no way they lose the Chilling Touch. So Pepita putting himself at some risk, yet not really being punished, although I think luck was kind of involved there.
Yeah, the pull camp is going to be blocked out by the Dire with that 5-man rotation, but then again, the similar ward's going to be placed out by the Axe in the Dire pull. They're still going to have some killing potential onto Dulce, but it's not going to be as much unless a pounce connects.
And Mihawk is going to actually be in threat in some of the time in this lane. Glimpse is really his biggest threat right now. Though Beastmaster generally very tanky, does have the boots first. Disruptor is going to be able to zone him out pretty easily. And Troll Warlord at a certain point, level 3, level 4, will be able to hold on to this lane very strongly without any sort of help. Not to mention the fact that they also have another support who's currently wandering the map. Zeus probably not going to find too much traction in this game in the early stages, given that his pull camp is blocked. But if the Zeus does get a couple kill participations, if he hits level 3, then he could suddenly turn up the gas real quick.
Yeah, the boar is going to be pretty annoying for Isurus to deal with, but for the time being, it's just died, and they were able to give that last hit towards Nidara. Mid lane matchup should be fairly even, although Shadow Fiend is going to start pulling head with just his raw damage advantage, which is starting to pick up as he grabs more stacks of Necromastery.
Up towards top, Dulce got hit with the stun combo. Instantly the Chilling Touch goes up, and well, a simple pounce in, and that Axe is going to fall. The Ancient Apparition can even get level 2 into Cold Feet with this lane. It's pretty much guaranteed to land if you just Wraithfire, Cold Feet, and then pounce. I don't even know if it's necessary. It might be, but either way, you have that at your disposal. The Axe is going to decide to just leave the lane. I think that is probably the best decision that he can make. It is possible that he gets a little bit more experience in that top lane, but the threat of death is just too high that the reward is definitely not worth the risk.
Yeah, he got level 2.5, and I think that's pretty much all you can expect. And his supports have create a couple stacks for him, so Dulce is going to be all too happy to farm those up, and his jungle farm is going to be accelerated because of it. This might end up freeing out these supports to look for a rotation, but Wraith King and Ancient Apparition roaming isn't the strongest, although one stun pre-level 6 onto the Storm Spirit should be enough to get the kill with just a couple of raises landing.
And that shouldn't be too hard, especially if GDX tries to man fight Ewo. He's going to pull him in, do lots of damage. He has another hit with the passive applied. Ewo trying to bottle up, but it's not going to be enough. He did get a little bit of bottling there, but it just was short. And at the same time, Beastmaster died down towards bottom lane. Not exactly sure how that played out, but Glimpse was involved. Whirling Axes were involved as well. But DDX getting a solo kill is a lot more important than killing off a random offlaner.
Yeah, it really is. That's going to be your bottle and boots flying out to the Storm Spirit, and also that window to actually gank the Storm is closing rapidly. He's going to get his level 6 before I think these supports can actually make any meaningful rotations, and Shadow Fiend dying at any point is an absolute pain. Chopping down those souls by half helps a lot for the Storm.
Yeah, especially since Storm, I believe, has his bottle coming out to him as well, so Ewo had that up a little bit sooner, yeah, but clearly didn't help him out too much, and actually winning this lane or controlling this lane. I mean, he's still doing okay in the CS department. He's, you know, a little bit ahead of that Storm Spirit with 3 denies. Nothing too important there, but as you said, the level 6 in the Storm Spirit is really the point in the game where he's going to feel the safest, and he's going to feel more inclined to go for aggressive plays onto Ewo, not just by himself, but with anyone who wants to rotate in, such as perhaps the Zeus. They're a little bit short of that level 6, but with that ultimate, they will have the power to actually go ahead and kill off the Shadow Fiend if they want to.
For the time being, they're not going to be able to get that kill. A pretty awkward rotation from the Zeus, I'd say. I don't think there really was much killing potential. DDX wasn't on the most HP and mana. He'll be able to bottle up and get back to serviceable amounts of that, and once he does have that level 6, killing off the SF, as you've already said, is pretty easy. Ancient Apparition, unfortunately, has disconnected. Hopefully he'll be back in sooner rather than later. For the time being, the Wraith King and Ancient Apparition look to make a rotation. They're currently clarity up on the Wraith King. They'll have 2 points up in the Wraithfire Blast and 1 point up in the Aura, and they have a smoke. So maybe, just maybe, they can pull this through before DDX takes his level 6, although I doubt it. He'll get it from the next creep wave.
Yes, Indra and Radix definitely busy in the jungle. Level 3 at this stage for both of your supports is very reasonable. If you're Battle Zone, you're going to be pretty happy with that. And you're going to be happier if they can make something happen. What they're going to be unhappy with, though, is the fact that their Slark is falling behind the CS race with the Troll Warlord. This is a 3v0, a 1v0 lane. I guess bottom line, Guthuxo's up against no heroes in his lane right now, yet he's still not last hitting as great as Pepita, who is just getting all the gold right now. Even though the Slark has a free lane, or had a free lane, he was struggling. Now that Dulce is back and Guthuxo has no help, this lane got even worse for the Slark. So if you have a hero that has a free lane but isn't free farming, you got yourself a problem.
Yeah, you definitely do. The Ancient Apparition and Wraith King go for the long wraparound, going all the way down towards the bottom rune spot before they look for this kill onto mid. DDX does not have his level 6, but now that he takes it with those creeps, I think he's going to be alright. The Wraithfire Blast is not the easiest of disables to land, although it is nighttime and maybe they can catch him out from fog. They'll apply the Chilling Touch and now move in. DDX is not going to be able to zip away. He was caught completely off guard, but now zip back, 3 zips, a little bit short. The damage isn't there from the Ancient Apparition, however, the Chilling Touch has since been used or expired. He's going to survive, although only just.
They're going to glimpse back Zinder. This Wraith King, only level 3, is going to get a face full of lightning, and he is going to die, taking tower aggro, even though there were creeps there. Not sure why the tower decided to do that, but Isurus are going to be glad the Radiant are on their side in a real sense. That was a very close miss by Battlezone. DDX, I don't really know why he decided to ball lightning in. I think he might have dodged a right click, a chilling touched right click from the Ancient Apparition. Now he's going to go straight back towards mid, wants some revenge, and Ewo is there, and he's going to fall, cut in the field. He's going to turn around for a raise. Don't even know if that hit, doesn't even matter. Disruptor is going to claim that kill, and that's exactly what I was talking about before. So much more inclined to go for this kill. At the same time, bottom lane, Mihawk is going to die solo to this troll. Couple of ranged axes after the double whirling, and Pepita's going to get himself a solo kill. 5-1 in Isurus. They're off to an amazing start in this game.
Yeah, they're running away with it very quickly, too. Although the Shadow Fiend hasn't been shut down in raw CS, the Axe is going to be working towards his Blink Dagger, which Dulce is going to have at a reasonable time. And although the Beastmaster can look for roams once he gets level 6, he's quite a far ways away from that. Mihawk has only just ticked his level 4. Invis Rune on DDX, potentially going to set something up down towards the bottom spot. No, scratch that. Ends up expiring. So there's not going to be any killing potential there. But regardless, Isurus have done well in pretty much all 3 of their lanes. And although they've left the Slark up to farming, as we've already kind of touched on, he's not farming at the same rate that the Troll is.
Troll's getting free CS farm, and he's going to make a pretty sweet move. Man, I love it when Isurus do this. Or I love it when any team do this. They get a little bit of lifesteal on their safe laner, and then they just throw him into the jungle. Not exactly the fastest way to farm up, but they leave the lane to be farmed up by a support. Sometimes it's Lion. right now it's going to be the Zeus for Isurus, and they are just going to have a little bit of free time to get a couple of extra levels. Looks like they're not going to fully commit to that, which is kind of a shame, but man, just having a couple of seconds, a couple of free creep waves as a support hero is so freaking sweet.
Yeah, it's a godsend, and Zeus can make very good use of that. Once you get out that maxed out bolt, it does a truck ton of damage, which Battlezone really aren't well equipped to deal with. DDX is currently not showing inside the mid lane. Shadow Fiend only thinks there's a disruptor, can only see him. Okay, now he is going to show himself by denying that creep, so scratch that. But still, the Shadow Fiend is forced to play so defensively. If Ewo steps up to CS inside the creep wave, he'll probably end up dropping.
And he doesn't have many useful creep camps in his jungle to have as a backup plan. Mud Golem's, of course, the bane of every single hero in the game. He's going to clear out a double stack in the medium camp, but while he's doing that to try to stay in this game, DDX is just farming over in the mid lane, and he's probably going to grab an Orchid sooner rather than later. Or really doesn't matter what he gets. If it may be an Orchid, then fine, he can go and kill things, but if he decides to go for something else, the point is it's going to be coming up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think the first item that really starts making things happen for Isurus is the Blink Dagger up for the Axe. Even though they're doing well in all of their lanes, the actual ability for them to look for towers and aggressive pushes is a little bit limited until they get that initiation up from him. But that's going to be coming out pretty quickly. It's about halfway there, and Dulce should be able to farm pretty easily, especially since he's gotten an illusion room, which is so great on Axe. Inside mid, zip onto Ewo. He can't get anything off. He's going to end up getting right-clicked down as DDX notches himself another very easy kill.
Fullback teleported up to the top lane, threw out an Arc Lightning, and then was instantly jumped on and killed. I don't really know why he did that, but it really wasn't the play that he wanted to make. Zinder is going to be forced to TP out of there, but they dive the tier 1 tower, very easily get the kill on the Zeus. For Isurus, it's, yeah, not really the best, but the fact that DDX got yet another kill on Evo yet again, 0-3-0, the Shadow Fiend is going to be very sad, and DDX is accelerated by that much more. And they actually chased down the Wraith King. I guess they found him with the vision and got the glimpse on in time. I thought Wraith King was home free, but apparently I was wrong. It's 7-2 in favor of Isurus, and well, that dunk got Axe just a little bit closer to his blink.
Yeah, this is really starting to get scary for Battlezone. The Slark is in no real position to start fighting at the moment. I expect this to be a Shadow Blade for Gethuxto, as he is sitting on quite a large lump sum of gold, or a Blink Dagger, but regardless, they need the Slark to start making space around the map. Shadow Fiend is also in no great position to contribute. He has Power Treads and Aquila and can do quite a decent amount of damage himself, but his ability to survive in the fights is pretty much nil.
Yeah, even if the Slark does get his Blink Dagger, that can be almost completely mitigated if Dulce gets his Blink Dagger within a reasonable time frame after that Slark. As good as Blink Pounce is, if you Blink Pounce and then you're instantly Blink called, then your initiation is down the crapper, and it's essentially the Axe who got the initiation on you. So, though the Slark does have enough gold to get that, if he wants to get it, it's not going to be the best item in this game. It's not going to be the safest item in this game, and it looks like holding on to 2,400 gold, he might be considering going for something else. Do you go for a late game item here? I thought with a free lane, if you were going to go down that route, you'd be holding a Hand of Midas right now.
I think it's a Shadow Blade, and he just hasn't fully committed to anything yet.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow Blade, get the Hawk going, and then you just have the Hawk follow the Slark, and then if you see anyone with that obnoxious range, they're pretty much dead. So that would be a good item, and he is going to agree. It is going to be that Shadow Blade. So hopefully so that Battlezone can put the pressure on, but they're going to make a jump instead towards Ewo. He has a Haste Rune, but he's going to get pulled back into a Static Storm. Lots of damage. DDX is going to sit in it for a little while longer. Gets roared as well. Even with Dulce coming in for the double dunk, he won't be able to save the Storm Spirit, but it's still kind of worth it. Especially if fullback gets the kill on Ewo right now. He's going to throw a little bit of lightning. Will die to a double raise. Ewo going to draw that kill. Dulce now being chased down by the Slark. Will find a clean blink to the south, and he will be fine. And Dare in the meantime being chased down by the still hasted Shadow Fiend, looking for a raise, going to land one. The second one not quite yet, but the second one is coming, I'm sure, and Dara is dead right now. That's going to be a triple kill for Ewo, and all of a sudden for Isurus, they're going to regret the fact that they decided to dive that tier 1 tower. They didn't know who was right behind the tier 1, and they got punished.
First usage of Roar, completely worth it for Battlezone, and a pretty huge turnaround. The gold that Shadow Fiend collected in that last fight is going to be put towards a mechanism. And just like that, Ewo's back into this game, 3-3-0. He's even out his KDA nicely.
Well, he's still 1,000-ish gold behind that Troll Warlord, who is holding on to the most net worth for Isurus by quite a nice margin. And he is going to be able to contribute to those fights, of course, if he is there. I don't know if Pepita's presence would have really swung the fight in the Isurus direction. Would have definitely helped out a little bit. But even though the Troll Warlord wasn't there, he was still farming. He has since taken down the tier 1 on the bottom lane, so Troll Warlord is holding on to quite a bit of cash, and he is quite a threat. The problem is he's walking right into an Invis Wraith King with Ewo right behind him. Pepita is going to book it on out of there.
Yeah, back off into the jungle, or he'll happily farm up. Maybe this Invis, however, can set up for a kill in mid. The Shadow Blade and the Slark has been previously used and now spotted out over in the sidelines. Instant Static Storm onto the Slark might be enough to turn around for this kill. The Storm Turret zips into mid, going straight onto Ewo, but DDX is completely alone. Zipping away, he's going to be able to survive for a little bit longer as the Slark only gets that Disruptor kill. And in the meantime, yet another jump in bottom as Dulce, with some help from Pepita, kills off the Beastmasters. It's not over in mid yet. TP10 from fullback is going to be successful. No way for them to cancel. It zips it from the Storm Spirit straight on to Radix, going to be able to pick off that Ancient Apparition, but not with a lot of mana left. Can they kill off Zinder? Well, you bet you can. With the Troll right in front of them, they'll be able to chop him down as Isurus come away with a big win. And now look for more. Ewo's stuck around on the Shadow Fiend, and now he's going to turn around for a raise, but Glimpse back. He's trying to kill off the Shadow Fiend, who survives on double digits HP, but now brought back into the Troll and Axe. It's going to be a 1-for-4 as the Shadow Fiend kills off the Stormster. He walked back into the Requiem of Souls, not the place that DDX wanted to be, and after all is said and done, that's a 1-for-3.
Yeah, I think there were probably more kills happen. Like, Storm Spirit wasn't the only one to die. Isurus lost someone, I think, beforehand. They lost Nadera at the very least, but he respawned since that fight was just so long. But that fight was just a mess for Battlezone. They didn't retreat after having gotten that easy Slark pick off on the Slark onto the Disruptor. They stuck around. They ended up diving a tier 1 tower without Wraith King holding Reincarnation. Whole bunch of things going wrong. Mihawk and Aurora Pepita over in the mid lane has Gathuxto coming in hot. But with the Sentry, he's going to lose his movement speed, or at least a little bit of his movement speed. Still going full back, though, doing quite a bit of damage. Will do the Zeus in. Pepita, though, wants revenge. They have DDX here, as well as going to instead decide to go for Mihawk. That's going to be a 1-for-1 even so far. Ice Blast will not connect on Pepita. No one in shatter range right now, so it's a 1-for-1. And for Isurus, they still have to be pretty happy that they're getting these trades, especially since Troll Warlord's still not dying. It's pretty much only the Zeus to take these deaths, or, you know, kind of almost only the Zeus.
Blinking Call coming out from Dulce doesn't catch anybody as they're not farming up that camp currently, and for the time being, Dulce is now on the run, although no great way to actually bridge that gap. Gathuxto's a little bit far incoming and can't actually jump onto the axe and turn. But yeah, for the most part, it has been just the Zeus. 0 and 3 on the Zeus and 1 and 2 on the Ancient Apparition. Really, it's been the sports to take the fall for Isurus and the big way up towards top. Gathuxto is going to eat the Static Storm Kinetic Field combination, then get glimpsed back. It'll save the Disruptors to life, but at the cost of his ultimate. Still worth it, though.
Yeah, the Disruptor doesn't really have any other tools to fight that Slark other than just try to glimpse him and survive. DDX is going to get hit with the stun over in mid. Will have a free Ball Lightning out. There was only one raise there that connected by Ewo, so DDX still going to survive and is about halfway, a little bit more than halfway, towards his Orchid. So his kill potential is going to skyrocket. The only problem is that he is getting hit by pretty much the only stun that Battlezone have. I want to say every single Wraithfire Blast has gone into the Storm Spirit, and so far I have yet to see him dodge any. So if DDX keeps playing like this, he's probably going to need to grab a BKB just so that he can fight a little bit easier. It's not too weird to see a Storm grab that, but you probably don't want to grab that until like after a Bloodstone.
Yeah, and also not into Battlezone's lineup. Right now, I think a Lincoln Sphere might be a little bit better, as all of their disables are, for the most part, just point-click, with the Wraithfire Blast as well as the Roar. I think that might protect him, but in any case, a defensive item for DDX.
Well, right now he's just going to farm up just a little bit more. Him and fullback, not with the rest of the team. They have smoked up for this top lane. Dulce with 5, 1, and 0. Wants a little bit more blood. Unfortunately, there's no one really on the map for Battlezone who have also smoked up themselves, so smoke for smoke, not really going to do much of anything except for extend this game for just a little while longer. Isurus, even though they have a Storm Spirit and a Troll Warlord, gotta say that Battlezone have a little bit more of a terrifying late game. Those auras definitely coming into play there, and the late game power of an Ancient Apparition, should he pick up an Aghanim Scepter, is insane. So if Battlezone keep drawing out this game, they might be able to take it late.
Yeah, it could be very scary at the very least for Isurus. If it does get to a late game portion, I think it's still pretty close, however, since Isurus do have just great ways to initiate fights. But that's not a risk that Isurus want to take. Zeus, in the meantime, down towards bottom, gets blown up by Gethuxto with the Shadow Blade into the pounce, as well as the Dark Pact combination. It's going to be tagged by ranged axes. Now the melee ones connect. Pepita, if he gets a bash here, could be a kill into the Slark. He'll be able to pounce down to the low ground safely, and DDX is a little too far away to actually jump onto this, but now he's came into range, and he's going to go straight onto Gethuxto, almost pulling him up. Max gonna buy him a little bit more time. The Static Storm Kinetic Field onto Ewo. The turning onto the Shadow Fiend. He can do nothing as he gets chopped down by Dulce. 2 for 1 is the trade, and now Mihawk also getting pursued. The Ancient Apparition Ice Blast is flying through, going to land on a Dulce, as is the Roar. This is a big spree that is going to be ended by the Wraith King. He's going to pick up that extra bit of gold. But in the end, I still think that's worth it for Isurus since they kill off the Slark and the SF.
Well, Zeus up on the top lane still wants to go for a little bit more, still has his ultimate. Lightning Bolt ultimate, not quite going to do it. I think he was just short. It's, I think, single-digit differences there. Fullback, for one reason or other, not going to go for that Ancient Apparition kill. In the meantime, Pepita, well, he backed off of that fight initially, then circled around into the Roshan pit. There is a Beastmaster right around the corner with full vision. Pepita is hitting pretty hard. Can Mihawk steal the Roshan with axes? It was a good attempt. You might as well go for it.
Yeah, you lose absolutely nothing going for it. I was hoping, but in the end, it's going to be Roshan for Isurus, and even if he does get that, it'll be an Aegis for Pepita. And this troll, he's been left pretty much untouched in this game, 1-0-5, 140 CS, and even though a lot of those are jungle creeps, he's still pretty happy. Up towards top, looking for a jump onto the Slark. They'll catch him out with a call, and the burst damage from the Zeus with the ultimate, and now the Culling Blade. He didn't stand a chance. Isurus will notch another high priority pickoff.
Yeah, that was a hero standing within an entire creep wave versus an axe. I don't really care who you are. If you get hit by that, you're probably going to die. Slark is no exception. Not even time to get anything off. They're also going to run to Zinder over in the river. This time, the Wraith King has reincarnation, but I don't really think it's going to help him because he's completely surrounded by enemies. He has no blink. He has no backup, and they will very easily kill off the Wraith King twice. DDX going to get a third, or a killing spree rather. And with those 2 heroes down, maybe Isurus looking for a little bit of tower pressure. They are applying a little bit up towards top, and with Dulce here, it seems unlikely that Battlezone are going to be willing to make a real defense.
Yeah, I think this tier 1 tower, the best I can hope for is a deny, but that's way too risky to really go for. They'll bring in some heroes on the backline. Slark's going to TP to the tier 2, but the tier 1 tower, at the very least, is going to fall in the favor of Isurus. We have a Blade Mail freshly picked up by the Axe. Although that's not delivered to him, he's still getting a lot of items that are going to help him fight, and Battlezone are starting to slow down and fall behind in that respect. After the mechanism, Shadow Fiend hasn't picked up anything major.
Well, Gethuxto, he's invisible and he's on the hunt. Nidera is his target and he is going to die. Gethuxto now stuck in the Static Storm, though Kinetic Field not going to wall him in. He's going to run straight to Pepita, gets silenced and pulled back. Can't quite get the pact off and will lose his head because of it. Ice Ball coming in, applying the chill to Dulce, but his job was already done. That's a 1-for-1 that Battlezone will never be happy to make, especially if they lose another. Zinder is going to get spotted out, and he will get the Storm Spirit right in his face. Pepita with the ranged axes will have enough to kill off that Wraith King, making it a 2-for-1 for Isurus, and they still have that Aegis on the Troll, so being so close to a tier 2, you might as well just test your luck and try to take it down, and it seems like, once again, Battlezone will be unwilling or unable, or both, to defend this tower.
Yeah, a really risky pickoff attempt coming out from the Slark, and in the end they get punished for it. Shadow Fiend's going to try his best to put pressure on other lanes, but even this tier 1 tower in mid is defendable by Isurus.
Sweet deny, man. 1 boar, 60 damage. That's definitely a difficult deny to secure when the enemy team has a Troll Warlord who's hitting for almost 200 a pop. So a little bit of a win there for Battlezone, a little bit of a win for the Beastmaster, but gotta say, that was one of the few wins I've actually seen from Mihawk. The Roar has seemed like it was just inconsequential this entire game. He's used it a couple times. It's been okay, but that's all. Nidera is going to get jumped by Gethuxto. Will he get punished this time? He'll go instantly into the Shadow Dance, and it looks like this time he might live, although DDX has vision now with the ultimate. He's going to ball landing up instead. Go for the Wraith King. Might as well get kills when you can get them. DDX is going to annihilate that hero, and then in the meantime, bottom lane, they will also take down the Shadow Fiend, who hasn't died in quite a long time, has the mech, has the strength treads, rather tanky, just not tanky enough. It's 2-for-1 again. This Disruptor is constantly trading in his life for better and better trades.
Yeah, it's really looking good for Isurus. At this point, Battlezone are going to be counting as small victories, but this is not one of them. Gethuxto in mid's going to eat the Soul Burn, barely survives, however, as the Storm Spirit just isn't able to seal the deal. He didn't have Dust. If DDX was holding on to any form of detection, it would have been pretty easy to kill off that Slark, but thankfully for Battlezone, they'll be able to keep their Slark alive.
In Battlezone, they're pretty much on the full defensive right now, and that's really not where their draft wants to be. They want to be using the Shadow Blade to look for kills and try to take objectives following them as a team. I think Gthuxto has been playing this hero like the Battle Zone want to be playing, just he doesn't have any backup every single time he goes. That's mostly because anyone who's following him is going to be in a little bit of danger, but Gthuxto can't be the only one who's getting these kills, especially if he's going to get jumped right now on the bottom lane. Wraithfire Blast, this time will be dodged. GDX going to slip away from that one, take the Roar and the Ice Blast. He will be in trade, but Pete does clean up in the back end. He still has that Aegis. He won't even need to use it. GDX, he won't even shatter. That was very, very close in the Storm Spirit, but that's only level 1 ultimate from the Ancient Apparition, nowhere near Aghanim. That's a 3-0 for Isurus, and they're going to steal this massive stack that the Beastmaster was working on previously. He cleared a... Okay, well, they're going to try to kill off the Ancients. The Ancients are the hidden boss of Dota, but still, it's 3 kills for Isurus. They're going to deny a lot of gold to the Battle Zone side, and now Pita is even more stacked. He has an item flying out to him. That's a completed Eye of Scotty, you know, casually.
Yeah, 22 minutes in, after going for the SNY and for lifesteal Aquila, this Troll Lord is stacked by every... I don't even have words for it. He's ridiculously farmed, and Battlezone just aren't equipped to deal with it. Even though their axe does die to the neutrals, as they clear up that 4 stack, he is going to be back up and running, and I don't think he really lost much of anything. And even after that death, is still out farming every single hero on the side of Battlezone. Tier 2 tower down towards bottom is going to get chopped away at by Pepita. Although they bring in the Shadowbladed Slark as well as the Beastmaster, they're still not able to get in range, and actually killing off this troll is almost impossible. Static Storm going to be used to zone them off of the tower, but nothing much else. The tier 2 is going to be denied. The second tower denial coming out from Battle Zone.
Well, in the meantime, mid lane, DDX is going to go for Ewo. Mechanism is going to slow down this kill. DDX running out of mana. Ewo will turn around for raises. Will get hit one more last time, and he will go down. Probably still worth it for him to do that, though, although I don't really know if Storm Spirit had enough to escape there. Soul Ring was already used, so yeah, he was dead regardless, and Shadow Fiend kind of giving away his life, but DDX, he is the type of player who's prone to just getting a little bit too comfortable. In the meantime, fullback, he's going to get jumped by Gthuxto. This time, Pita is here. Lots of burst damage from the Zeus. And with the axes, looks like Gthuxto might make an escape. He will. No first hit bash there for the Troll Warlord. A 2-for-1, this time favor Battle Zone, until Beastmaster loses his head down towards bottom. Dulce wants more, maybe. Won't quite find enough time to blink in.
Yeah, that Shadow Fiend inside mid got experience for that kill, and that's going to propel him towards level 16, and that kill also gave Wraith King a full level and a half. He now is sitting on level 11, which is a pretty huge leap in power for the Wraith King, so I think that is alright for Battle Zone. It's going to slow down Isurus' snowball a little bit, but only just. The troll is still completely untouched. Pepita's 309 and isn't going to slow down for anybody. Currently running at 514 movement speed as he barrels through the enemy woods.
And if he runs into anyone, assuming the invisibility from the Shadow Blade isn't there, Pepita can grind anyone to bits. He's going to get jumped by Zinder and Gthuxto. Does get the evasion now, but now Dulce comes in with a 2-man call. They're going to go straight for the Slark, and they will chop his head off. Now onto the Wraith King. They will chop his head off, although kind of not really. He will come back with that reincarnation instantly to the Static Storm, gets silenced by the Orchid, and Zinder is going to get blended. In the meantime, DDX is going to kill off the Beastmaster. All he wanted to do was help his team, but he's going to die instead. Now Ewo glimpses right back into the clutches of everyone on Isurus, and that's going to be a clean 4-0 in favor of the Isurus side. They have so much time now to take objectives, in fact, infinite time, since they have just won the game.
Battlezone going to tap out, and honestly, I can't really blame them. They tried for that last-ditch effort to kill off the troll, and they really just couldn't do it. A well-executed game coming out from Isurus, and although there were a couple of sketchy fights and deep dives, in the end, it was just a little bit tighter. I like their draft when they're able to get ahead, Battlezone, I mean, but they just weren't able to keep up that momentum. Unfortunately, the Beastmaster pick did not pan out.
And the Axe pick definitely did for Dulce, so I guess ban Axe and don't pick the Beastmaster if you're Battle Zone. But either way, guys, this is a best of 3. Isurus Gaming currently leading 1-0, and we will see if they can close the series in a 2-0, or if Battle Zone will be able to bring it back. I'm Mikelorus, been joined by GrandisV, and we will be right back for Game 2.